Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Jai Shri Caitanya, Jai Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Jai Shri Caitanya, Jai Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Can I read?
Yes.
There are still other factors which can disturb the plant of devotional service. As this plant grows, the weeds of material desires may also grow. When a person advances in devotional service, it is natural that many persons will come to him requesting to become disciples and will offer him some material gains. If one is attracted by a large number of disciples offering material conveniences and forgets his duty as a bona fide spiritual master, the growth of the plant will be impeded. Simply by taking advantage of the material conveniences, one may become addicted to enjoying material comforts.
So Lord Chaitanya, he spoke about the Bhakti Lata beach. The Bhakti Lata spoke. Then now he's saying what are the impediments on this path in devotional service. He spoke about the 10 offenses, and now he's speaking about this that one may actually be on the path of devotional service. One may become so good that he gets disciples, but then he may get carried away with the material comfort or with the fame, with the name, the adoration, and forget Krishna, forget what he's actually set out to do. Because after all, we have been here in the material world for a very, very long time. So Lord Chaitanya is saying that we should be careful of these weeds.
Other impediments are to desire liberation or material name and fame by discharging devotional service, or to neglect the prohibitions. These prohibitions are mentioned in the authorized scriptures. One should not include in illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, or eating meat. Indeed, one should not eat anything other than Krishna Prasadam, food offered to Krishna. These are the restrictions for one who is attempting to advance in the devotional service. If one does not follow these principles strictly, there will be severe disturbances in the discharge of devotional service.
Then Lord Chaitanya is saying there could be other impediments, other weeds. We may desire liberation. I just want my material distress to go away. Not actually wanting Krishna, but just want, or that the material distress should go away. Or may desire name, fame, adoration, and worship. So he's saying these are the other impediments which may also hamper our devotional service or not following the rules and regulations.
If one is not particularly careful by watering the plant of devotional service, one will instead nourish the weeds described above, which will then grow very luxuriantly and hamper one's progress. The idea is that when one waters a garden, not only does the desired plant grow very luxuriantly and the idea is that when one waters the garden, not only does the desired plant grow rapidly, but the unwanted plants also grow. If the gardener does not see these weeds and cut them down, they will overcome and choke the plant of devotion. It is thus the duty of the neophyte devotees to cut down all the weeds that may grow by the watering process of devotional service. If one is careful to guard against the growth of these weeds, the plant of devotion will grow luxuriantly and reach the ultimate goal, Golok Vrindavan. When the living entity engaged in devotional service relishes the fruits of love of Godhead, he forgets all religious rituals aimed at improving his economic condition. He no longer desires to satisfy his senses, and he no longer desires to become one with the Supreme Lord by merging into his effulgence.
So then Lord Chaitanya is saying that when we are doing gardening, we water our plant which we want, but at the same time the weeds are also growing. So even we are watering the plant of devotional service, we are hearing and chanting, but these weeds are also going to grow. So what he's describing is the process of anartha nivriti. There are these anarthas in our heart. They're there. We can't see them. But what happens is when we are chanting, when we are hearing, then we may be able to see them. And then when we are able to see them, we should take them out. We should work on them. That I have this negative, this anger issue, or there's so many things in our heart. So then we have to work. Not easy, not easy. But at the same time, continue hearing and chanting, not to give up the hearing and chanting. So this is the process of anartha nivriti. Sometimes it may take lifetimes for this. Sometimes it can be done very fast. Just depends on each individual. So then Lord Chaitanya is saying that once one is careful and the devotional creeper has reached Golok Vrindavan, then then one can relish Krishna Prema. Because that is the goal. The goal of chanting, the goal of human life is Krishna Prema. And then once one can taste this Krishna Prema, then you don't need anything else. Then we forget all those other things that we had been working on for lifetimes and lifetimes. We wanted economic development, we wanted dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Then we forget all of that because Krishna Prema, that's the highest. That's the pancha, what they call that? The fifth. Well, it's the most important. We think that dharma, artha, kama, moksha are the important things of human life, but no. Bhagavatam says, Lord Chaitanya says that prema pamartha mahan. Developing love for Krishna, that is the highest. It's the goal of human life.
There are many practices leading to spiritual knowledge and transcendental bliss, including the ritualistic sacrifices recommended in the Vedas, the execution of austerities and pious duties, and the practice of mystic yoga. These all reward different results to their performers, but all these rewards appear to glitter only as long as one is not elevated to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Love of God is dormant in everyone, and it can be awakened from its dormant position by the execution of pure devotional service, just as a person bitten by a serpent and fallen unconscious can be revived by smelling ammonia.
So then, Lord Chaitanya is continuing to say, like how many people say, well, to reach the goal, there are so many different ways that we can reach the goal. Yeah, so you can reach the goal in many different ways, but then what happens, some ways, when we practice some ways, then there may be obstacles and we may just get carried away by that. Like, for example, if we want to climb a 100-story building and we say, I'm not going to take the lift, I'm going to go by the stairs, then what may happen is if one is taking the stairs to go up to the 100th floor, one may get tired, or because on the 20th floor there is a nice lounge, there's nice music, and so we may say, oh, let me take a rest, let me, and then after the music and the lounge and the food, then you say, oh, why do I even need to go up? I don't want to go up. I will just go back. So then there are different, what do we say, distractions on different paths. Huh? Getting the
Yes.
path, following the path of knowledge or following the path of rituals or of yoga, they give us certain results and we can get distracted by those results and forget that, hey, actually I started out was trying to understand the transcendental platform, the absolute truth. So the easiest way to come on the transcendental platform is by chanting the holy name, is by doing bhakti. And this is how we can revive our dormant love of God. You see, it's the words that used are very specific. Means love of God is there in everyone's heart. It's not that it's not there, it's just dormant. So we just have to revive it. It has to be awakened. Prabhupada is using the word awakened. How to awaken it? By
Pure devotional service, execution of
yeah,
pure devotional service.
yeah, which begins by
Hearing and chanting.
Chanting.
that's right. Hearing and chanting, and then we hear and chant, and we try to chant without offenses. And if we can try to chant without offenses, then very soon we can taste this fruit of love of God. Very soon. So that is what we need to work at. That is the effort that we need to put in our chanting. When we are saying, oh, we need to work and we need to do a lot of things, but what do we need to work towards? Work towards the chanting.
After speaking in this way about pure devotional service, Lord Chaitanya began to describe that service and its symptoms to Rūpa Gosvāmī. He explained that in pure devotional service, there can be no desire other than the desire to advance in Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, there is no scope for worshipping any demigod or even any other form of Krishna, nor is there room for indulgence in speculative empiric philosophy or fruitive activities. One should be free from all these contaminations. A devotee should accept only those things that are favorable for keeping his body and soul together and should reject those things that increase the demands of the body. Only the bare necessity for bodily maintenance should be accepted. By making one's bodily necessities secondary, one can primarily devote his time to the cultivation of Krishna consciousness through the chanting of the holy names of God. Pure devotional service means engaging all one's senses in the service of Lord. At the present moment, our senses are all designated because the body is designated. So we think that our body belongs to a particular society or a particular country or a particular family. In this way, the body is bound by so many designations. Similarly, the senses belong to the body. And when the body is subject to such designations, the senses are also. Thus, one engages the senses on behalf of family, society, nation, and so on. When the senses are so engaged, one cannot cultivate Krishna consciousness. The senses must be purified, and this is possible when one purely understands that he belongs to Krishna and that his life belongs to Krishna. In other words, that his identity is to be an eternal servant of Krishna. In this way, one engages his senses in the service of the Lord, and such engagement is called pure devotional service.
So then Lord Chaitanya is continuing to speak about what is pure devotional service. He's saying that in pure devotional service, Because we have so many desires. We have so many material desires. Each of us has different desires, you know. One desire doesn't get fulfilled, we have 1,000 other desires. And our Lord Chaitanya is saying that in pure devotional service, the only desire, the main desire is, what is that?
To advance in Krishna consciousness or to serve Krishna.
Yeah. So that is in pure devotional service. Then he says in this pure devotional service, there is even no worship of any demigod, nor even any other form of Krishna. It's only a worshipping Shamsundar Krishna. Yeah, no demigod, no even any other form of Krishna, nor is there room for indulgence in just dry philosophy, speculation, mental speculation, not following the scriptures, but just making up some kind of a philosophy or some kind of karmic activity. So Lord Chaitanya is saying one has to be free from all this to be engaged in pure devotional service. Then he's saying that he should accept only those things which are favorable, just for bare maintenance, and reject those things which are going to increase the demands of the body. And then we may say, oh my God, these things sound so difficult. What's going to happen? What's all this happening? Well, no material desire. We have thousands of material desires. Then accept only favorable for keeping body and soul together means what? I have to live in a hut or what? And I have to reject everything that increase the demands of the body. Only the bare bodily maintenance for things should be accepted. What's happening? What shall I do? Well, Lord Chaitanya also says that be wherever you are. You don't need to change your position. Just chant Hare Krishna. Read Srimad Bhagavatam. Chant Hare Krishna. Everything will happen. So we don't have to be afraid that, oh, I have to give up, I have to go to the forest, or I have to change my position. We don't have to feel, what do you say, sorry. No, we continue to hear and chant. Just continue. Hear and chant. So then, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Pure devotional service means engaging all one's senses in the service of the Lord. We'll say our senses are engaged here, there, everywhere. So I'm not yet on the pure devotional platform, but that's okay. When a child of 2 years or 3 years old, he has to go to preschool. And if you tell the child, oh, there is, you have to do masters and then you have to do a postdoc and you have to write your thesis, the child is going to get scared and not even go to preschool then. But in due course of time, as the child goes, preschool, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, everything happens. Everything falls in place. Yeah, isn't that? So we understand that this is pure devotional service. Yes, we understand, okay, I'm not on this platform, but what I can do, I can hear and chant and have the desire. I want to go back home, back to Godhead. So by mercy of Lord Chaitanya, because it's by his mercy that we have been given this chanting of the holy name. It's by his mercy that we have been given love for Krishna. So taking his shelter, we continue to hear and chant. And then, of course, we don't have to be callous, we try to follow whatever we can to the best of our ability. But in a positive, enthusiastic way. That's what I mean to say. Not in a guilt way. Endeavor, yes, we endeavor, patience, determination, everything has to be put, but not guilt, because then that brings a person down. So then, what is that?
Sorry, I can't see the screen. Everyone can see?
Yeah, I
You
can see.
Oh, you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
see. Okay.
see. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll join in again. Okay.
Okay. So then, so when one purely understands, so as one continues to hear and chant in the association of devotees, then one comes to the point that, yes, what is my identity? That when the living entity understands that the identity is to be an eternal servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarubhai Krishna Nityadas. Lord Chaitanya begins his teachings with that. We are not able to understand it. We are not able to. But the more we hear, the more we chant, the more we purify our existence, the more we will be able to understand this. And then the more we will be able to engage in Krishna's service. One can engage his senses in the service of the Lord. And such engagement is called pure devotional service. So this is this is a liberated platform, engaging in pure devotional service. We should have this desire to be engaged in pure devotional service, because Lord Chaitanya says just to have the desire to engage in pure devotional service is pure devotional service. Says that just to have this desire, we just read it. There's no other desire than to advance in Krishna consciousness. That is pure devotional service. If one has a desire that, okay, right now I'm not engaged in pure devotional service, but it's my desire to be engaged in pure devotional service. That is pure devotional service. So we should somehow or the other try to cultivate this desire. Somehow or the other, put this desire in our heart. And then we continue doing our part, hearing and chanting.
A pure devotee accepts the transcendental loving service of the Lord, but rejects all kinds of liberation for his personal sense gratification. This is stated by Lord Kapila in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.29.11 and 14. In his explanation of the nature of pure devotional service, as soon as a pure devotee hears the glories and transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in everyone's heart, his mind at once flows towards the Lord, just as the water of the Ganga flows down towards the sea. Such spontaneous attraction of the devotee's mind to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead signifies pure devotional service.
So then, a pure devotee, he is looking only to be engaged in Krishna's service. Now, how can he do that? What's his mood? How is he able to do that? Why? Because he's in love. It's out of love that he's able to do it. When we love someone, we want to serve them, isn't it? We love our whoever, parents, family, children, spouse, and so it's very natural. We want to serve them. Similarly, when love for Krishna is established in the devotee's heart, he naturally wants to serve him. That is the real position of every soul, of every living entity. Because we are saying servant of Krishna, but we have to understand, why is the living entity wanting to be a servant of Krishna? Why? Because he has love for Krishna in his heart. That's the reason he wants to serve him. Similarly, Krishna is also serving the devotee. It's not that Krishna is just saying, yes, you just serve me and I'm going to not do anything. No, it's reciprocation. It's reciprocal. The devotee wants to be with Krishna and Krishna wants to be with the devotee. Now, Lord Kapila in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, he says that as soon as a pure devotee hears about the glories of the Lord, hears about the qualities of the Lord, then at once he remembers the Lord. At once he wants to be with the Lord. His mind is completely attracted to the Lord. Like for us, it's like we hear of maybe somebody that we are very attracted to, maybe a film actor or a sports star or something. We hear their name or we hear, oh, they did this. Then immediately our mind will go to them. And we might start saying, oh, he or she did this also. And, this and this happened. And, because our attraction is there. But a pure devotee, he's revived his love for Krishna. So as soon as he's hearing about Krishna's name or Krishna's glories or Krishna's qualities, he at once his mind rushes towards Krishna. And it's a very nice here analogy is given, just as the water of the Ganges flow. You can't stop the Ganga from flowing into the sea. Can't. It's going to some way or the other find a way to go to the sea. So similarly, the pure devotee, his mind spontaneously goes to the Supreme Lord. And Lord Caitanya is saying this signifies pure devotional service. Spontaneous. This is a natural attraction for Krishna. Very high platform. It's very high. It's on the liberated platform. The living entity is already liberated. That's how he's able to have this kind of attraction. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, then we can continue to read.
Devotional service is pure when one engages in the service of the Supreme Lord without any selfish motive and without being hampered by any material impediment. The pure devotee does not desire to live on the same planet as the Supreme Lord, nor does he desire the same opulences as the Lord, nor does he desire to have the same form as the Lord, nor to live with him side by side, nor to merge into his existence. Even if the Lord offers the pure devotee such rewards, he rejects them. The point is that a pure devotee is so much absorbed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord that he has no time to think of any benefit. Beyond his immediate engagement, just as an ordinary materialistic businessman thinks of nothing else when he is absorbed in the business, a pure devotee, when engaged in the service of the Lord, does not think of anything beyond that engagement.
Again, so nicely put. The businessman, he's just thinking nothing else, that this is the things I have to do. There's nothing else going on in his mind. And the pure devotee also he's saying, this is something I have to do. That's it. Or, the mother for the baby. She's not thinking, oh, the baby's going to grow up and this and that. No, she's just thinking, this is something I have to do right now. And she does it without thinking anything else. So this is how the pure devotee, he's not thinking, I'm doing this so that I'm going to get this. Then that's not pure devotional service. There is mixture there. So when these are the different kinds of liberation, living on the same planet or the same opulence or the same form or to live near the Lord. The idea is that, okay, the pure devotee will live on the same planet as long as he can have this loving relationship with Krishna. Not that, yes, okay, I'm just on the same planet and have nothing to do with Krishna. No. So for him, the mood is, where can I be able to be situated in this loving relationship with Krishna? Serve Krishna. Because there's so much love, then you want to be with the beloved. No? And when then you want to be with the beloved, there's going to be some exchange. It's not that you're just going to sit across each other and do nothing. Oh, there's always you're going to do something, you're going to say something, you're going to hear something, you're going to do something or the other. That is what is the relationship between the devotee and Krishna. And it's all based on pure love, not on lust. Not on lust, not as a business, but just pure love. So we'll stop here for today. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Gaur Bhakta ki
Jai.
jai. Thank you so much for
Jai.
listening and joining in today. Hare Krishna.